Hi, I'm Elli Cassidy of Elli Cassidy Portraits, and I specialise in maternity and newborn. But today I'm bringing you a little look on how to stay at the front of your field. Um, this is relevant for most portrait genres, so even if you don't do maternity and newborn, or maybe you do children or boudoir or even pet photography, there should be a fair bit of crossover here for you as well. Okay. Um, so one of the important things we need to look at is to run a viable business and not just be the best photographer in the world, but to actually make a living from it. You kind of need to have the really good business skills. And I know they're a bit less sexy and we all enjoy getting really excited about the photography, but they need to go hand in hand. And actually, if you really broke it down and put me on the spot and said to me, would you rather have amazing photography skills or amazing business skills? Well, my heart would like to go, hey, photography, my head knows I need to go business skills, because you can earn a good living running a good business without necessarily being the absolute best photographer in the world. So I want to have a little look today with you about some of the psychology that goes behind building a good business. And lots of it really is to do with the prep you do with your clients before they come for a shoot with you. And then also the amazing experience you can give them when they are with you, which will naturally lead to them investing in you and spending more with you. So we're going to have a look at that together today. One of the things I think that helped me get as far as I did, as early as I did, was becoming a specialist in an area. So portraying myself as a newborn specialist. I added in maternity a year or two down the line, but actually I think they marry quite well together. But the advantage of being a specialist is that if you're having a new baby, you tend to get in a little bit of like a baby bubble. So new parents might look at prams and whether they're going to breastfeed or bottle feed and what kind of birth they're going to have. And it's like a whole bubble of things you get sucked into. It's very similar to weddings, when you might find a bride to be starts looking at dresses and cakes and flowers and a whole world of things she's never explored before. It's quite like that with new parents. So if you can portray yourself as an absolute specialist in the area, it builds a level of trust with you. You can show that you're competent with newborns. You don't need to worry about the safety aspect. You've got that covered, that you've got 100 different tips and tricks up your sleeve to get babies settled or to get any siblings maybe to cooperate, and even how to relax the sort of your nervous posing mums and dads, because they're often not used to having a camera put on them when we kind of freeze. So if you can show them that you can even relax the whole family to get the brilliant newborn photographs and family photos with that, it buys you a level of confidence, I suppose is the word I want to use. And the other thing about being a specialist as well is it's allowed me to network with other baby relevant businesses. If you're a dog photographer, you could network with other kind of animal and dog businesses and groomers. But it means I can reach out to all these different people, work together with them under the umbrella of I am the newborn specialist in the area for the photography. So it kind of gels really nicely. I'm not saying you can't do more than one genre and you can't offer more than one thing, but what I'd actually do is market very carefully and try and make sure you're seen as the specialist for this, even if you're also a specialist for that. So you maybe have separate websites or even separate branding if your businesses are, if the elements you're doing are quite different, maybe a bit of commercial and a bit of newborn, you might want to separate that slightly, so you can still market yourself as the trustworthy source and the best one in the area who knows this particular genre inside out. I think as well it really helps with all your social media and your website and your brochures if your marketing is given one clear message that I am the person to see around here because all I do is endless newborns and I still love them. If you can put that across, it's going to buy you more clients coming your way. So when it comes to giving your clients the best experience, I am a massive believer in being a product-based photographer. I need these families to come back to me again and again and again. And if I give all the images away on a USB or a digital download and sell them that way, they might still come back again. But if they buy a large wall art portrait from me for baby number 1, they're going to have to come back for baby number 2, 3, 4, 5 and get the same large wall portraits. Otherwise, those children are going to turn around one day and go, you don't love me as much as them because they've got the wall art. So it kind of gets you in the groove of working with families who come to you for a product and then it's repeatable, they'll come back each time. I also like to try and do a family photo or portrait as well as the newborn portraits. So often my families will buy 2 large wall arts, they'll buy one of the newborn and one of them all together. So when they have another sibling and another sibling, they renew the family one each time as well. So it just leads to further sales, and it's a win-win for you both there. But in order to do that, we very much need to educate our clients as to what's going to happen on their photo shoot and how it's going to work. So we need to inform them what's going to happen, then we need to deliver on that, and then we need to inform them on the next stage, and we need to deliver on that again. You can't leave the talking about products and wall art and albums until they come for the sales session. We need to start way, way, way back at the beginning. So when you look at your client perception and client experience of you, we often think that the first experience is it might be when they book a session with us, but often we'll go, it's when they come to the photo shoot and they actually meet us and they can see how lovely we are, and they'll kind of grow that rapport and connection with us then, and then it'll make the sales easier because we've already made a connection with them. And while that's not wrong in building the connection, you need to look at your client journey and go right back to the very beginning. Now, your client will know about you before you know about them. So the first part of your client journey really is their acknowledging that you even exist, their awareness of you. So how do they hear about you and how do they find out about you? Is it through social media? Is it a website? Is it a friend referral? That's their very first impression of you. So we need to be actively marketing and be very aware that whatever we put out there is the first time a client may meet us, okay? Which makes a big difference. Then you might have your inquiry, you may have a booking or a consultation you do with them, confirmations that you send out, excitement build-up emails before the session. Then you've got the session itself, and then they come back, hopefully they'll come back for sales, because in-person sales is definitely the way to go. Product delivery or collection, any follow-ups you do with them, checking they're okay with everything, and any further marketing. So there's all these different points in which a client is going to have some experience with us. And it's really important that we consider at every single one of those, how are we making our client feel? What is the vibe we're giving off? How are we servicing them? How are we making them feel about their photographs and the experience, and about their time with us? So it's much more than just the portraits that you create. It's all about the moments, the feelings, the emotions, and the connections that you build with your clients. And another big thing that people like to talk about as well when we talk about being a product-based photographer is so many people say, but what do you offer? I've got this and that. Now, in honesty, when I first started, I offered all sorts. I offered way too much. I had all different kind of frames. I had box frames, regular frames. I had float frames. I had canvases and acrylics, and you name it, it was on my price list. And over time, I've realised that the less and less I offer, the easier it is for a buyer to make a decision on it. And I always compare it a little bit to going to a restaurant, and you say you go to a pizza restaurant. There's 8 pages of menu with 6 pizzas on a page. There's so much overlap, it's hard to choose. And then you get a bit of buyer's remorse when you see someone else has gone for something that you might have preferred. If you go to a pizza place and you've literally got a margarita, a meat feast, a Hawaiian and a vegetarian, you'll know within 2 seconds which one of those you want to go for. And it's actually really similar, I think, with your products for your clients. So I offer now 2 types of wall art. I have framed and frameless, which are alumini metal prints, which are beautiful. And then I've got a folio box and an album, which makes it really simple because I'm not offering too many things to my client. I'm not overwhelming them. And it's very much when they're in the viewing room, do you prefer this or that? And it kind of helps guide it all through. So keep your options and products really simple. They can still be beautiful and luxurious, but don't have too much choice, because honestly, a confused mind says no. It just shuts down and you can't make any decisions either way. So I have an a la carte menu, and then I bundle them together in collections, and I really believe collections for the win. I have 3 and most clients go for my middle one, so it keeps it nice and simple. So let's have a look. Oh, the other thing as well is when I do maternity sessions, lots of people say to me, oh, well, for maternity, don't clients just want a small album and have it tucked away somewhere? And actually, no. one of my biggest sellers for maternity is large wall art. And it's kind of, you have to presume the sale. So if you talk to your clients about buying large wall art for pregnancy portraits, and where they might put them and what style they prefer, they'll follow your lead on that. It's only when we project that these images should be kept somewhere discreet and hidden away that they'll get that impression. So don't worry about having big maternity products on display. They do sell really well. And also, if you are someone who's finding your clients are erring towards the smaller things, so just a few prints or a small album for maternity, then take them off the price list. Just take the small stuff off, only leave full albums or folios or large wall art on, and that's what your clients will buy. They'll only buy what you offer for them. And another thing I wanted to touch on real briefly as well was the digital debate. Do you give your digitals, do you sell them separately? Do you not sell them at all? Do you release them at a certain price point? Do you give them with whatever the client buys? There's so many different ways of doing it. What I would say is you need to know your numbers, because if you give digitals away, if you sell them too cheaply, that's going to really hamper your sales, and they won't necessarily buy as much wall art or large albums from you. So the way I've chosen to do it is with whatever product they buy, they get the matching digital file as a backup. So they do get the files, but only when they buy a product of that image. And that's ensured that they still get their wall art through me and their full albums through me. And it's kind of a bit of a win-win, I think, because the clients don't feel they're paying for the digital, even though you actually build the cost of reprinting and kind of the cost of giving that to them into original product price. So the other thing then with selling products is we're all a bit like sheep. The public population, we like to follow what everyone else is doing. So whatever you see people doing, that kind of confirms, oh, that's what we should be doing. And I always have, I like to kind of compare this with an iPad for you, for example. When Apple first brought out iPads, all the newspapers were like, well, this is a duff product. It doesn't work like a laptop. And at the time, you couldn't make phone calls with them. So they weren't cellular. So like, it's kind of an in-between non-event product. It doesn't really work. But how many of you at home have got a tablet or an iPad of some sort? We've got loads. Even my children have to have them for school now. So that's how ingrained they've become in society. So you have to presume and lead the way and show people, this is what I want to sell. This is what people come to me to buy. And the more we can show it them subconsciously, the more they'll start believing it and trusting it. And what you're aiming for is for your clients to have sort of pre-chosen what they want to buy before they even book in with you and come for their session. So we need to really, really show our products, market our products, hang them around your studio and have them there for them. And if you're selling wall art, I also really recommend grouping them in your marketing materials on your website, in your studio if you've got the space, and show your clients more than just one frame or one wall art, how they can set them together and how it can make a really good statement piece. And then we also need to tell them the benefits of having those pieces and what it's going to do for their life and how it's going to look like a wonderful feature piece above the sofa or the fireplace or going up the stairs or wherever you're wanting to put that piece for them. So you need to show your products. Nothing beats showing products better than having it in a room setup. So if you can photograph it in a real room, in your studio or your home or a friend's home or a client's home, that's brilliant. If you can't, try using the room templates you can get, because that's much better than nothing, and it will show your clients not just their great portrait, but their portraits in a product in a room setting. Helps them visualize it so much more. So as well as having just the individual wall arts, or have your collections and show the galleries or things that you might offer, again, in room situations so they can see the different possible outcomes for them. And something else that I like to do as well is I talk to my clients about how they can have a growing gallery. And particularly if you've seen the circular wall products you've got, they look great scattering up stairways. But you can have a maternity one, then a newborn one, then a cake smash and a first day of school. It can just go on and grow with them. You can do it with any shape product, but I just find that the circles, it's quite popular with my clients at the moment. But you need to put that idea in the head of this shoot that actually, hey, come back and have another shoot with me, because it's much, much easier to resell to the same clients than constantly have to market for a new client. So don't forget, once you've got a client in your books, to keep encouraging and nurturing that relationship and show them what other things you can do for them as well. So when you have your websites and your social media, don't just have the finished image on show. Make sure you've got products all throughout it. The client will, if they see you've got products on your website, they will start linking you with those products as well as the actual portrait files when they're looking at them. And that's really, really powerful. And the other thing that I like to do as well is we often have client images on our website and client testimonials on our website, but I haven't seen that many people pull them together and put them with a client's product. So have the product with the client's image on it and the testimonial next to it all put together in situ, and it just makes it so much more powerful than having a quote alongside a still image on its own. And again, I do the same thing in brochures, lots of client testimonials alongside the products there. Even when I do marketing videos, for example, if I do a Christmas shoot or I'm advertising a Mother's Day promotion, as well as showing a lot of images in there, nice and quick, and I use Animoto, but there's all sorts out there, I always drop in a still of the product that I'm selling and talk about how it will make a great gift. So you're showing them, even fleetingly for a second, if that this is what you're wanting them to do. They're going to come to you and they're going to leave with a product like this. And throughout the session, once they've booked their session with me, I have a series of emails that go out to them to build excitement. So we can talk about where in the house you might want to put your images and whether they prefer albums or wall art or the different kinds of wall art. And I even send them out information on how to take photos and measure up the room, so when they come for a viewing we can see what would look best where. So the whole time I'm giving my clients a really high level service whilst always leading them through this route to buy wall art. And I just think that selling the amazing wall art is what separates me from lots of other photographers around here who are amazing photographers, but maybe don't put so much focus on selling a product, and it's just all digital downloads, and often with an online gallery. So they lose quite a lot of the lovely experience they can have if you're going to give a really sort of custom experience in viewing to your clients. So during this session, when they're in with you, you need to create moments. Sometimes I've got parents who are really active and involved, and other times I've got parents who might sit on the sofa and they're tired and they've had no sleep and they're on their phones chilling out while I work with their baby. And I'll always make a point of saying, oh, look, come over and look at this if baby's doing something cute. And you build those kind of moments and emotions because I need them to feel it in the session, because if they feel the emotions when we're working with them, they're more likely to spend well afterwards. When they see the images, it will re-evoke those emotions. And then in the studio as well, I have a large space. I'm really fortunate, but I've got wall samples all around the studio and products out, so the clients can hold them, feel them, touch them, see how they're all hung together. And in the session, we can even say sometimes, oh, this will look amazing as a blah 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 product, or I don't know how you're going to choose which one for the wall. It's not forced, but you're dropping hints throughout, little kind of drip feeding, and confirming the idea that they're going to choose a product at the end of this. So to sell your wall art well, again, it's always going back to, you need to talk about it in your marketing, talk about it in your prep info or your consultations, during the shoot, again at the ordering. I'm constantly gently referring to wall arts and folios, which are the main products that I like to sell to them. When they come back for their viewing, I have a lovely big screen. It's really chilled. We do a large presentation. And in that presentation, I will put those room mock-ups in there so they can see their baby portraits on the wall and have an idea of what it might look like in their home. And that's really, really powerful. I always make sure they handle the products and feel them, because when they're holding it and smelling it, it's so much easier. And I mentioned at the beginning, I talk about what kind of products they prefer. So which they want, not if they want. So if we're looking at wall art, do you prefer the frames or the frameless? Do you prefer the folio boxes or the albums? And it naturally leads to an easier choice making than do you want something or not. It's more of a, oh, I like this or I like that. It's really quite powerful to try and do with them. I always ask warm-up questions as well, so when they come for the viewing, it's not hi, no, I get them in and settled, and then rather than saying, would you like a drink, which is a yes-no answer, kind of question answer, I'll start off with, would you prefer a tea or a coffee? So from the very minute of them coming into my viewing room, they're making choices and choosing this or choosing that. And the other thing you need to think about as well is what you can offer in your experience that is different to everybody else around you. You don't all want to be the same. So hopefully you're giving your clients an experience that's above and beyond and selling these amazing products. But it's really good to try and have a USP as well, your unique selling point. So it could be that you, at the end of your regular session, you might do an elaborate setup for the family and something really creative with that newborn. It could be that you've started to include some video footage after session that you include in your highest collection, so it leads you to sell your higher collections more with a little bit of video that really brings back all the feels of the session at the time. So find your little USP as well and work out how you can bring that into your sales to help them go for a higher collection, help them feel that they're getting something extra above and beyond with you. It could be you have a makeup artist on site for everything, but you'll find something that's just feels right for you, that's different for you. So in summary, because then I've got a really tiny window of 20 minutes here and I've possibly gone on already, it's all about making your client feel wowed and handheld from the start to finish, but by giving them an amazing service. Don't be afraid to sell products to your clients, because actually most of the time when a client books with us, that's what they want. They're booking to have portraits taken that they can have on the wall or in an album or a folio that they can show friends and family. So don't feel guilty about selling to them. Excite them about selling and start the pre-selling before they even book with you. So at the viewing, it's not a hard hitting sales at all. It's pretty much they know what they want, they're choosing the right images, and it's a really lovely, gentle, warm, fun experience that they'll come back for time and again. I hope that's been helpful for you. I'm going to pop over onto the Zoom on the Fujifilm stand and do some Q&As if anyone wants to join me there. Otherwise, my website is ellicassidy.co.uk and you'll find me on social media at Elli Cassidy Portraits. Just drop me a line, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, bye.